Well, hello, everyone. I'm back again, just last minute setup as usual. Good to be here. My name is Todd Rains. Welcome to All Things Woodturning, where I'm going to talk about all things woodturning. How exciting! So let me get rid of that control in my hand. It's Friday afternoon at 2:30, and I welcome you all here to my shop here in Allen, Texas. Again, we're still chilly. I think we just got above freezing about an hour ago. But oh, that is so exciting! I wonder if I can get a shot of that. So I'm gonna see if I can do. I've got this lens here, so let me set this shot up here a little bit. This will be something a little different. You can kind of see in my shop a little bit and get a little view of some part of our shop. Let me see if that's. Let me zoom this in a little bit more and see. Sorry, I'm just playing with cameras more than anything right now. But I wanted to kind of show a little bit of what we got going on in the cold part of our shop. Why does that always happen? Oh, my phone just, I have been inundated with calls lately, um, with, which is good. I mean, don't get me wrong. I talk to customers all day long and I love it, but it's just not when I'm live streaming. So, uh, good. Hello, everybody. So, oh my gosh, we got lots of people here. So, uh, let me go back up. We've got Michael. Thank you for joining, Michael. Cindy, thank you for being here. Um, Glenn, good to have you here. Let's see, Mary Alice. Oh, great to have you guys here. So, um, here we go. Here is. I'll take myself off the screen. That is in our shop. So it's in my garage here. It's about 36 degrees outside. But last summer, I bought my wife a hibiscus bush, and we wanted to save it. So it's been thriving in the shop. It's got a few little fungus things going on, but we got a little grow light on it, and we got hibiscus blooms in the middle of winter. So isn't that pretty? So that's kind of fun. Anyway, let's. So that works pretty good. I think that was a fairly good shot of the shop. If I let me switch back to that one. If I zoom on, I don't have. So bear with me as I fiddle with the wrong way. Now we're zoomed out. I swing the camera around a little bit. So there's table saw. There's drill press. You can't see. I haven't got quite it aimed right, but that's about right. Over to the there's the kiln. There's the extra fridge. The door. I can't see what's going on now. I lost my monitor. Oh, the supply cabinet. And then I'm gonna whip around. And there's me, big and up close. And then back around to the to the lathe and all this gear. And out of focus. So let me try and focus that again. So a little shop tour, brief that it was. Just kind of thought I'd swing the camera around. So we got the hibiscus in here, creating some nice flowers for us. So there we go. Let's see. I got. Let's see. We've got Cindy. What she got? She says we've got a heat wave, 32 degrees Fahrenheit right now. Yeah. So Steve says Steve's in the house. Thank you, Steve, for joining. 37. Yeah, 36 over here just a bit ago. Yes, that is my power zoom lens. Although I was using it manually, Cindy. I've been a little bit. Let me see if I can get. I got to pair the remote almost every time I come out here, which is kind of a pain in the butt. So sorry for the shaky camera. So yeah, I just The power 45 to 175. Yeah, so it works pretty well. I like it. And now it should zoom. There we go. I got a zoom setting set up and zoom just in steps. So I'll push of a button. David said he's up in the Pacific Northwest, I think Oregon, right, David? 39 today. Nice. And extra fridge, plenty of room for beer in the shop. That's important. Yeah, there's beer. There's actually a couple of cases of beer on the floor down by the kiln. We just didn't have room in the shop, in the fridge right at the moment. So, but yeah, so it is. We've got the space heaters going. Hopefully, you don't hear it too bad in the background to keep it a little warm in here. So we're going to take a look at a couple of things today. Oh, hey, good to have you here, Lee. Thank you. I'm glad you could make it from Alabama. So good to have you here, Lee. And so I was saying earlier, I've gotten several calls over the past few days. Good. Don't hear the heaters. Thank you. And so the one of the calls or questions, there's calls and emails about different things. So I've just loaded up some more woodcut product that on the website, and as soon as it was funny, I loaded up one thing, and 20 minutes later, somebody had bought one. It's on back order. I've got to get them in. So I appreciate that support, and I appreciate you guys checking out the new products and stuff. So at least the new products carrying at Woodturning tool stores. So that's something that we're going to carry on with, adding products as we go and grow. But one of the questions I got this week, and my collar's all jacked up, was about the teardrop cutter. And somebody asked, well, how do you use it and stuff? And so that's kind of what I'm going to look at today. To be honest, I had no idea what I was going to do today until late last night. My wife and I talked about it. I said, well, I did have a question from that one guy. So that's what we're going to look for. Thank you for posting that, Cindy. Woodturningtoolstore.com. Check it out. So yeah, that's true. The fridge in here hasn't had to work very hard this winter, so it is nice. But having two of them go in the summertime adds to the bill. But with a loving wife that loves to cook, we need the fridge space. So I'm walking away with a tool that I need pretty soon. So like I said, I didn't really have a whole big plan, but I usually don't anyway. So we'll just kind of carry on as though we do. So I got this piece of mesquite. Let me get myself down in the corner here so it's not quite so intrusive. This was leftover jam chuck from my small plates demo on Wednesday. That was a lot of fun. It was a marathon session for me, 3.5 to 4 hours long. But so we're going to use this little piece and just talk about how this little teardrop scraper that I use and I make here, how you can use it for different things. You don't have to, obviously, use a gouge, but there's some kind of unique things that I've been able to do or find solutions for using this thing. So we'll go through some of that today. So part of this video, I'm hoping to kind of slice apart and use as sort of a product video on the product page for this cutter and this toolbar. So bear with me as I kind of make those kind of starts and stops to make this sort of an editable video. So let's first of all talk about the cutters. We'll bring out. Let me go to overhead and I'll just place them on top of the mesquite piece here. So we've got the large size. I'll take the small size out of the holder, and we'll compare those. And then the other one I've got in the lineup is this this dovetail square type cutter, and that's really not showing them off very well. I'll just put them on my hand here, and maybe we'll zoom in a little bit Where's the zoom? There we go. So the small one, so these are all sitting bevel down. If I flip them over, there's bevel up. So you can kind of just see the bevel there and there and there. You'll notice that bevel down on the teardrop that's large and small, they're kind of ground opposite. Normally, you might see that, right? So um, what this means when you mount it is the slot is either going to be towards the left or towards the right on the bar. And to be honest, this is really, I try and get this straight with my fabricator. This is from an old batch where we had it cut on the left, which I really prefer it cut on the right. So, but either way, it works fine. You just kind of, we're using this corner mostly, and with the slot on the left here, it kind of interrupts that area. Where if it's on the right, then this area where we cut with mostly is free to use all the way along. So, but they work either way. The dovetail is kind of a square, so we got a square and a dovetail end. This is kind of a new idea that I came out with a few months back, maybe last year. It's been a while, and so I've got a few of these. So we'll take a look at these as well. I'm going to take this one and this little one over to the grinder and show you how I grind them. So, or sharpen them. So these, first of all, I should say, are T1 high-speed steel. So they are steels that you can sharpen, take to a grinder and sharpen, whether it's a stone or a CBN. They're not carbide. I was in a club demo, and somebody had mistaken these for the teardrop carbide that another vendor makes. No, these are not carbide, so they're sharpenable on stone. David Perez has a good question here. Let me pop this up. Do your teardrop cutters fit the Sorby holder? Yes, they do. In fact, the screw size is the same, 1032. So they will. And to be honest, that's where the inspiration or the thought of the half round bar really came from. Is that tool? So the screw that holds it is a 1032 cap and washer head. Sorry, not cap head, but washer head screw. It mounts in the bar. So I think it's the same screw size that's on the Sorby. So the reason for the larger size of the teardrop is just longer reach. If you're trying to get around a corner in a hollow form or something like that, if you're trying to get in that undercut rim, you can maybe get that going into that corner a bit more. It'll be a little bit unsupported in terms of a handle area, but you just take light cuts. These were really created, these two sizes and this style of teardrop, by Brian and Gord McAvoy when they were selling tools years ago. How Woodturning Tool Store started for me was buying that inventory, those designs and stuff from Brian and Gord back in 2017. And so now I make these. They used to make these up in Edmonton. I make them down here now. Basically, it's T1 high-speed steel blanks that I take to a water jet company. They jet them out, and I take them to get them from them, and which has the basic shape. In fact, here is a kind of a raw one that is not sharpened yet. You can see the water jetted edge is kind of square. It's not beveled or anything. I started sharpening this side, but I thought I'd show you a little bit of how that goes. So then we put it on the platform and sharpen it. But that's how they come. They're kind of pretty pointy. They have pretty poor transition points and stuff. But the slot is cut out and the rough shape is cut out. And then I grind them all by hand in my shop, just like Brian and Gord did. What they created these for was their large boring bar hollowing system. So these would go on the end of a 1.5 inch thick round bar stock that's 6 feet long that rides in a floor standing D stand and then another tool rest. And Brian is known for his deep hollow forms. He'd hollow up to 3 feet deep. These are the cutters he used. Pointy part for doing most of the hollowing, and the round part for kind of scraping and smoothing. So on the end of a large boring bar, this is all they used for hollowing. And so that's really what they were intended for originally. And when Brian and Gord, they gave up that design and sold that design and the inventory to Carter Products, and Carter Products sells that, or did sell that system as the Hollow Roller XL. Their little version, Hollow Roller, is a smaller version with a captured system that sits in a banjo. But the Hollow Roller XL is a floor standing D stand and a 6 foot, 1.5 inch round bar with a D style handle. Sorry, not the D stand on the floor, but the captured rig on the floor. I've got it over there. I don't know if we can get a shot of it, but it's a heavy system. It's meant to go deep, and this is what it was used for. So currently, I also sell these and manufacture these for Carter Products. So if you go to Carter Products, you'll see these on their website. Yeah, they come from me, Woodturning Tool Store. So that's an interesting little factoid. And let's see. What is Dave Leader's asking? Can you show how the teardrop cutters lock onto the tool? Yeah, absolutely. We'll get to that in a second. And Lee, I have the system from them. Yep, excellent. So that's where these bits will fit your hollowing rig from Carter Products. Let's go over to this camera. This is showing my grinder that we're going to work at. It's a 1 horsepower with the square-sided CBN wheels. The one you're looking at mostly is a 180 grit. So I will do most of the grinding over on the other wheel over here, which is an 80 grit wheel. And then I'll touch up on this. So there's just 2 platforms. They're set very close to the wheel. It's just a standard little platform on this side. But I put them up to the wheel. The platform, when I get it up to the wheel, is set to about 70 degrees. So if I lock it up, I've got a little too close there. I usually have about a 1/16 of an inch gap. And then it's simple, a matter of, let's see, is that going to blow out the camera too much? Just looking at my little camera monitor. So, well, that's not bad. It's just a simple matter of kind of just using your fingertips and rotating it around. There's not a whole lot of pressure going on. All I'm trying to do is refresh the edge and get that nice sharp edge around that perimeter. So that one's done. We'll get the little one. Make sure you set it with the bevel down, so the bevel is on the platform, or going down on the platform. So and then just rock it around across that gap. Trying to get my fingers out of the way so you can kind of see. And just around the corner. Just a simple sort of light pass around the perimeter. Oh, I didn't grab let me get the square one, dovetail one, because that is a little bit different of a look. Let me know how the view is. Maybe it's not quite so good from that angle. Actually, I can't see my chat, so let me get back over there for a second. Okay. So here's the dovetail square one. They're really very similar to hone up. Just hold it square, give it a little slide back and forth. on the square sides. And then one more, this one here. And then for the dovetail side, I have to swing it around the side of the square edge and then bring it up to where I can get the dovetail on there. You don't get a lot of slatting room, you'll run into the side wall in that corner, but if you hit that corner right there, it's not going to matter because you don't really use that corner. It's out of the way. So, and that's it. If you take a look at the edge, you get that sort of glintiness off it. You can kind of see where you've sharpened, where you haven't, and that kind of stuff. So, simple as that. When I grind them off the as new cutters over on the 80 grit wheel, it takes quite a bit more oomph and stuff like that. So that's probably a little bit of a low angle on that view, but I do have a YouTube video of this in action. So I wonder. Oops, that's not. Did I? Ooh, hang on. I am in full screen mode for some reason. There we go. Sorry, kind of freaked me out. Let's see if I can share. Oh, let's not do it that way. Let's do it this way. We'll do it through my. Let me see if I can get this figured out. Well, let me just show you the website. Maybe that might be easier for me to do. So I do cast, and there we go. So here's the website on the Explore Woodturning tips and tricks. You come down. That one's the default that loads up. But here you can find the how to sharpen the T1 high-speed steel cutters. And it'll load up in here as a video. And you can go through and you can watch the video. I measure the angle. I think it's 70 degrees or whatever it is. That's an old sort of protractor I had a while ago. So if we go full screen, that might get a better view of it. So, and then if we kind of get to the platform, so we're kind of measuring the platform. This one doesn't do a good job, but it's 70 degrees thereabouts, and then there it is, beveled down. We're just kind of going to hold it there and rotate it around. So that's the same grinder in the video that you just saw. And if I just scoot ahead a little bit. Some people suggest to do it the opposite. So the grinder's 180 grit CBN wheel. I don't know if you guys are getting the sound as well. 80 grit wheel grinding on this would be a fine edge as well. Stone wheels would be fine. Whatever you have in your shop. So it's just a matter of rotating around. Just as simple as that. So let me come back to here. Come back to overhead, and that kind of just shows a little bit of the video. Do they also come in a carbide version? Not for me, Guy. I don't sell a carbide version. Nope. And Dave, if you don't have CBN wheels, well, the diamond wheels do okay. Yeah, diamond certainly will do fine. So, and even stone wheels, if you got a stone wheel, will be fine as well. So, the only thing I'd suggest if you have a stone wheel, grade it or clean your stone with a stone truing device, whether it's a diamond platform or those wheelie things, just to clean out the grit from the stone and make it a nice sort of flat surface. If you've got little concaves or dips in your stone, try and get those out. It'll cause problems with grinding. Steve says, Steve's responding to somebody. There's sound coming through the faintly. Yeah. Well, you can go watch the video later, but it's really very dead simple to sharpen these on platform. Just match up the angle to the bevel on the tool, and away you go. So let's take a look at David's question about how they lock on. So on this bar, it's the half round bar. The screw on there is, like I said, a washer head screw. The bar is 3/4 inch thick. I've milled off the top of it. You can see down here, there's the full diameter of the bar stock. The shank is 5/8. So if I have my hex key from me, this is in my modular tool handle system. So the shank is milled down to 5/8, and then the bar, it's got my little name on it, logo and stuff, is plated, electroless nickel plating for wear resistance, corrosion resistance, and that kind of stuff. The hole is, like I said, a 10x32 thread screw, and it simply locks on by, let me get the small one because we'll use a small one first, by slipping that over and tightening up the screw. So no need for taking the screw right out. That's one of the things I like about this system, is you don't need to lose the screw or take it right out to change the, sorry, my hand's in the way as I get this set up. So just a hex key. If you buy the bar, you get the hex key and the screw, of course. And you can buy the cutter separately. So I mount it like that, where it's slightly, the large lobe slightly off to the left, because that tends to where I use it most on this edge. You can see this, the keyhole way is already, it's not really going to be used. So I'm not really concerned about the slot being on the left on this little one. But the new one should be slot on the right. So like this large one, if I was to mount it that way, it would mount that way. So that's the simple mounting. Let me see this camera, make sure this other one's kind of set up. That's still in focus. Yep, good. All right, so we're just going to do a little bit of work with this tool to kind of see the different ways I use it and why I have it on a half round bar. And as a matter of fact, we might just mount it to begin with upside down. We can look at that point. So let me do that. So so the bar is half round for a reason. And I'll just get this out so I can kind of show a little bit. This way I can rotate it to any angle I want. If I'm shear scraping, I can move it this way, shear scrape across. I can go in, handle high, cutter low, and kind of get to the bottom. I can go down the side wall of a vessel and shear scrape up the side and do that kind of stuff. I can go to the bottom of a vessel and get that middle mountain, then turn it over and come up the bottom and the side. So this allows me a lot of range of motion. If I'm doing the outside of a vessel, then I can roll it over on this side to come up the side wall. I can do the other way, roll in this side. So, and so I've got a lot of options here to create any sort of scrape motion or shear scraping I want to do. But if we, let's flip this cutter over. So right now the bevel is, let me go back overhead. The bevel is down. Bevel is going that direction. So if we flip it over, I need the short side. And just a quarter turn to slip that out. Put the bevel down. Then now I'm going to swing the point just slightly off to the right, keeping it over top of the bar. Now the bevel is up, but if we flip it over, put it on the flat, now the bevel is down. And now we're in hollowing or cutting mode. And you can see the cutter, the point is just sort of on the right, sort of left side of the bar. So for me, that's just kind of comfortable to kind of get to the left side of where you're hollowing. So let's do a bit of that first. This is mesquite. What we do have to know is that our when we flip the bar over, we have and let me while I'm thinking about it, let me get this other camera back because it would be good to show this other angle. Sorry, just maneuvering cameras here slowly. Let's see. That's almost in focus. That is in focus. Looks good. All right, so this will kind of show that we have our center of our cutter just a little low. When we're on the this side of the bar, the cutter's mounted on the bottom, so we've got to raise the tool rest to get the cutter back on center. So it just up a little bit, and let me just find out where center is. There's center. So that's still a little low. I do want to be handle high in this kind of cutting mode. And so there we are. We're now handle high to be right at center. So may not show, but the handle is up higher than the cutter. And so now we're ready to cut. What I also want to be aware of is that, go back to overhead for a second, is my cutter is underneath here and is going to catch on the tool rest. So I want to be back far enough that my cutter can escape and not get jammed. I don't want to be in this situation where now if I slide this way, my cutter is jammed between the tool rest and the work. So give yourself some room that you can get that cutter out of there. Grab my safety glasses. Lathe on. Speed up. I've got by the way, I'll just show, whoops, wrong way. Wide. I've got about a 12-inch handle on here. You could use a longer handle because I am going to be kind of holding this. And if you get any deeper than this, you'd want a longer handle. But this certainly is enough for what I want to do here today. So just a simple sort of from center. Out there. And that's just straight scraping and hollowing with that guy. So I do want to kind of I'm going to flip this over. We can hollow this thing out. So I need to get I'm going to have to hollow most of that out anyway, because I'm going to stick this on. Back to the center, drill that hole, drag it out to the left. I'm just kind of measuring where I'm going to put my tenon. I'm not going to actually scratch anything. I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. And then use that tenon cutter I used on Wednesday, if I can find it. That's going to work. Just putting a little 60 millimeter tenon on this thing. And then I wonder, why couldn't we do that? It's the wrong way, but yeah, I'm just kind of making up a design in my head, sort of thing. So I'm just going to do a little shear scraping. I'm going to call this the foot. And I just need to get that middle. Cleaned up a little bit. And need to clean up that area right in here. So we got kind of a double recess going on here. I just don't know why I'm doing it, but this is called experimentation and play. So what I'm going to do is flip this around and hold this in my chuck by this foot, and then we'll hollow this thing out with the tool. We'll do some more scraping. So just a little play piece to see what we can do. The reason I don't want to hold it in this chuck is this has got a 4-inch tenon on it, which is kind of wasteful. So I'll stick it on my smaller chuck and we'll play with it there. Will you also demo the dovetail cutter? Oh, I hadn't thought about that. I should have done that right there. But yeah, so that was kind of the... Okay, let me do that. That was a good thought. I didn't even think about that. I was in my demo mode from Wednesday where I used that other tool. All right, so let's get this tool out. This bit out. Dovetail cutter in, and I want that bevel down. Let's try to think. Yep. All right, so sorry, not enough hands to show everything I'm trying to do. My screw. There we go. So this is the dovetail cutter. I put it so when I put it flat down, the bevel is down, and I actually want to. I could use it this way, and I'll do it this way first, and we'll show another way of using it. I have to back this off to get my... This is one of the things with this being such a big cutter, is I have to have my tool back a ways to make it access, which isn't ideal, but and I need to raise this up. And so we can cut a dovetail there. So let me, what if that would be on camera, that one. So getting this, I'm doing this secondary dovetail because this outside one, the inside one is cut to size, I believe. So I don't want to really, but we can cut the rest of this one. So with this square, I've got this dovetail here. And so this angle here, I believe is 77 degrees or 76 or 70, between 76 and 78 degrees. So that gives me a 14-degree dovetail, which I think most dovetail jaws are that way. So turn that off. So just in there, handle up a little bit. So we've got a trailing sort of cut, and we can kind of cut in and create the dovetail. So I'll take that cut again, just across, and let me see if I can zoom this a bit more. Oops, that was what I wanted. I still I make sure my focus is okay. I might be too close for focus there. And this is this RX 100 that's got just some real finicky sort of focusing issues that we struggle with sometimes. It's got great autofocus, but it's just, there we go. It's just trying to get it to the right zoom depth that you have to kind of play with that a little bit to kind of see how close you get in the zoom to where you can actually get some focus. So this will show it a bit, maybe a bit better, and maybe we'll put that one in overhead. So so I'm kind of slicing across the fibers that way, and then once I get to the corner, I don't want to pull out because I'll end up cutting my dovetail away. I just want to gently kind of push against that and create it. So you want to create most of your opening before using this tool, and then just slice in that way. Again, handle high so we don't get a catch. And my tool rest probably needs to be a little bit higher. Oops, not that high. So I'll go to the inside and just clean that up a little bit. One of the things I have found is that the width of this cutter is quite a bit to scrape all at one time. So what I might be inclined to do, and maybe what I'll do on my next design, or next iteration of getting these cut, is to do this kind of design where I've only got a little bit of a cutter in there. So this one will probably work. I'll show you what I mean here. If I'm getting all that cutter engaged, then that's a lot to scrape all at once. And it gets a little bit catchy because it's a lot of material to catch at once. So still does a decent job, but you just have to hang on a bit more. But if I switch it out for this other one, and all I've done is grind away the one corner. Wrong way. And this one, now I'm only cutting half as much of material all at one time, so it's not near as sort of grabby. It's not cutting a whole bunch of material at once. So this one's a bit easier to manage. So, but it still gives you that same angle in there and stuff. And so the same way that works. And now you've got a nice square edge. You can scrape up these square sides if you need to, and stuff like that. So the other way, if you have the tailstock up and in the way, so let me kind of mimic that. Put that up there for a second. If we have the tailstock in the way, then that's where this homemade tool really excels. So I'm able to get my tool in between the let me go take that off, in between the tailstock and where I need to get to make that dovetail. The inner one's too far in. I won't cut that one, but I'll cut this one. So I'm able to get in there and cut a dovetail, and that's how I'm able to do these plates in between centers, is I have the tailstock in the way, but I'm able to get this dovetail cut in there. So this is a Mike Peace video. See his YouTube video for how to make this tool. But that would get in there and allow you to cut this dovetail in there. What if we had this tool? Can we swivel this and do the same thing? It's a little more challenging with tool rest because the blade is so big. Let's see if we can get in there. We might not be able to, right? So that's one thing that I'm trying to figure out with this design, is to how, see, I can't get in there with it. So it's not something that's really going to work with tailstock in the way, but yeah, we're working on how to fix that out. But it works great for the straight on view of cutting a dovetail. The other nice thing about the square one is you can do the square side. So if we rotate it again, oops, this way, and go in here. Again, we got to back up a little bit to allow the cutter to escape. Now we've got I'm a little crooked on the cutter. I like it kind of parallel, so. Now we've got a little bit of a recess cutter, right? So we can cut a square edge. So if I change this, actually I want to, we change this outer recess to a square. And oops, ouch. Just hit my elbow on that live center. Not good. Now we've got a square recess cutter. So a couple of different uses for that one, for sure. Let's see. Glenn, could you use the recess in the bar so that the cutter and the round bar are, could you cut a recess in the bar so the cutter and the bar are flush? Oh, yeah. So I think Glenn is asking about this. If I recessed in the bar a little bit so that the bar and the cutter are flush. Yeah, could do that. In fact, we've looked at that as well. So good thoughts though, Glenn, absolutely. Let's go ahead and turn this thing around, put this in a different chuck. like I was going to do. And we'll, ouch. Sorry, I got my thumb whacked on the, between chucks on the wall, so that out of the way. It's up here. That might be, oh, that's going to work. So that's sucked onto that inner dovetail, not the one I squared out, but the inner dovetail that I had. And let's change this back to hollowing mode with the teardrop cutter. Pointy side out. Slightly to the left. Raise the tool rest up and back far enough so I can get the cutter out of the cut. And hogs out pretty quickly. Just trying to make sure I didn't really measure my depth there, so because I'm in kind of deep. I'm in that far, plus 5 millimeters, so that is that's there, so I'm probably about there. So I'm just trying to see. I think my recess ends right about there. And this goes to there. So I got another 5 millimeters or so. So we'll call that done. We'll take the cutter. We'll flip it over to half round bar mode. So that means flipping the cutter, putting the flat end out, and a little bit to the what will be the left. Whoops, right there. That's right way. So now, oops, wrong side of the. I went the wrong way with the direction of the cutter. Over to the left when it bars round side up, and drop the tool rest. And we can move the tool rest in a bit now. So now we're in sort of shear scraping mode. We can kind of clean that up and then have a nice little had a little chatter, a little shake going on there. So we'll go back and clean that up. I'll go a little faster. Little lighter cut. And we got a decent look. I got a little hump right there, so I'll take that out. A decent cut. Not bad. So that's kind of a decent sort of looking bottom of a box or a little dish. If we kind of come to the outside, and shape this up more appropriately. This tool I hadn't sharpened for my demo, so it is pretty dull. Let me grab a different one, which I have. Where's my other gouge? There it is. I don't know what I'm seeing back here. I'll take that off. There we go. So what I was seeing was that little that little lip that was back there. I'll have to clean that off later. Well, yeah, just a little bowl, and maybe there's a thinner tenon or a band up here. I don't know. For a lid. So that's kind of just a little bit of how I use that teardrop scraper on end grain. And then let's see what this looks like. So bottom of a box or something like that, I'd remount it and clean up the bottom. So that might work, or jam chuck it onto something. But just kind of showing this sort of, that's finished straight off the tool, and I wonder if that might show just a bit better. Not too bad. Let's see. Let's see. Bill is asking, Todd, do you sell the chuck and Donald jaws you're using now? No, I don't. I kind of wish I was a Axminster rep, but I'm not at the moment. But you can get them at Axminster directly, or the other the other guy with a similar name. So I'm woodturningtoolstore.com, but if you go to the Woodturning store, that's Steve Fuligoni up in New York. I think he carries them as well. Yeah, exactly what Ben said. Axminster. So yeah, great, a great chuck. I do like it. I use it quite a bit. So what if we had a face grain piece? So let me, I wonder if will this fit? I don't know. I haven't even tried this piece, but that is not the right size tenon, but because we've got a little bit of a mismatch. But just for demo purposes, I'm gonna say that's gonna be fine. I'm not gonna really show you what I'm looking at. So I'm gonna bring this out here, and we'll switch back and we'll put that in picture in picture, and then we'll widen this guy out. So with face grain work, where we got the grain going across this way, this is an old blank. I wasn't happy with what I was doing, so I was playing around with it. It's got a nice finished cove back, but it's just scrap wood now. You get those projects, and that's part of the other thing I had thought about talking about today was all the unfinished projects in the shop that I've got to get to. So, but we will talk about that another day. Don't want to get that far away. I can use this tool. Let me clean that off a little bit to kind of clean up this plate, make some designs in the plate, and other stuff. So we'll do that. Let me move this out of the way. Speed all the way down. It's a little wobbly on that chuck. So I won't touch the rim. I'm going to work on the interior a little bit. It should be fine. So handle kind of high, cutter a little bit lower, rolled over, not straight up, but rolled over right so I can get that round part right on the center point. I can get under that center nib and pull up and get that center middle mountain out of there. So we can just keep doing that and create a little divot and create a little bowl shape. Keep going in there. We can come across. I'm going to clean off maybe couple of these stripes in here. Create a little nice cove shape in here. So now we've got this kind of sharp transition in here. Really quite nicely cut. It's not bad at all. We can turn the tool kind of right over, almost vertical, and go down that side wall. And I wonder how close. This might get a better shot of it if I tighten up and scroll over. So if you look down at this part of the screen, you can see the orientation of the cutter is right rolled over, almost vertical. And what I'm trying to do is I'm lining up this bevel of the cutter with that sidewall where that red mark is, where my finger is. And I'm going to go straight in and create a nice square sidewall. So and I give it just a twist to start some better shear cutting. And I've now created a very sort of, maybe this one, if I zoom that in, it's not focused. Let me focus that for a second, folks. I've created a nice square wall right against this side here. So just by taking that cutter and pulling straight in, vertical and then opening up and pushing in and creating a nice sidewall. So sometimes you can cut a nice sidewall that way. And now if I want to clean up this half cove or half cove in here that was a full cove, I can get down in that sidewall, bump up against it with the heel of the cutter or the bevel of the cutter. Open up and swing out and create the little shavings that's going to cut this little half cove. So those kind of things, you can create little scallops. Learned a lot of this from Al Sturt using his little tools. So we can, and I'm getting a little bounce because this plate's a little unbalanced. A series of rings of coves. Nice little shavings off of those guys as well. And if we take that cutter, rotate the pointy part, but still bevel down on the half round part. Now we've got a smaller tip to create those little coves. So we'll create a bunch of little coves in here. And this center guy is a little bit torn out, so we'll come back, drill maybe a steeper hole in there. And clean that edge up a little bit. There we go. Now we got a nice little bowl in there with I got a little tear out just on the rim, so clean up that tear out. Now we got a nice cut all the way around. So there's some kind of useful and fun things you can do with a scraper, a round scraper, create textures up the side of a bowl, and those kind of things. So there's, I wonder if I can pull up one of my it's funny, I don't have that one in the gallery. I had a bowl I was going to show you. I thought it was in my gallery of images on my site, but it's not. So let's see. Yeah, so there's the other place, the other woodturning store. I'm the woodturning tools. Well, I'm woodturningtools.com. He's the woodturning store. So that's where you can get the chucks and the jaws. So that'd be fine. Let's see. 15:40. I'm about 10 minutes past my usual hour. So hopefully that kind of shows you a bit more of how to use the teardrop cutter. Oops, I wanted to do that. And the half round bar, at least how I use it. There's probably a lot of other different ways of using it. We didn't really talk about the long side of the square cutter. So if I'm doing the outside of a bowl, and I really don't have a proper bowl to show, but this will kind of do for now. If I'm doing the outside of a bowl, I would certainly use it to shear scrape the outside like that as it's rotating, on a tenon, which I don't have it. This is one of my half round or my bowl and bowl demos pieces. But the square shape does like that, or you could use the long square shape. The other side of this, I'm not quite sure yet. There's probably other uses for it. I think that helps with the tenon cutting or the square recess cutting. So, yeah, trying to think what else I can tell you guys about these things. So, here's one thing. Let's try this. So I haven't experimented with this today. I put a negative rake on this guy. So there's a 70-degree bevel there and about a 5-degree bevel on top. So what if we throw that on there? I wanted to show that. I had it up here to kind of see what that would do. And maybe that might be good on the inside of that bowl that we just did, the mesquite bowl, so we get a finer cut. So let's do that. Now, this is end grain, so this ought to work just fine. Maybe what I'll do is I mounted it automatically with a half round bar in use. I'm going to mount it upside down so I use it flat bar and just use it like a regular negative rake scraper. Flat on the tool rest, cutting at center. And again, I have to kind of back up a little bit to make room for the cutter. I want to find out where center is. So that's going to be cutting pretty much dead center with the bar level. Safety glasses, Todd. I'll take myself off for a minute. So very, very soft, gentle cutting. Cuts very well, just like a negative rake scraper would when held level and flat. Just trying to get that middle part by wiggling up and down underneath it. So nice and crisp in there. Let's see if that focus in there. So not a bad cut at all. I'd say that's worthy of a shear scraper. Sorry, a negative rake scraper. So very, very nicely done. Yeah, so that's that guy with that slight, not that guy. Yeah, that guy. Had it there upside down. So used to using the half round side. So a nice negative rake scraper edge on that guy. And that is really just taking the standard product that I sell and then taking the tool to the grinder upside down on a very steep angle and grinding that flat. It's a little, it's your fingers are far enough away, but it's just a matter of holding this on the platform nice and securely as you rotate around the wheel that's coming by. So very small edge. Don't need a whole lot up there. And all the way around. So yeah, there you go. A little treatise on negative rake and teardrop cutters. T1 high-speed steel has been used in the woodworking industry for decades, and it's known for its wear resistance and high impact resistance, and that's why it's used on planer blades for woodworking planers, industrial ones, and all the way down to the home shop deltas or DeWalt's and stuff. And that's how I get my material for cutting these out is planer blades. So, will you be adding any hollowing tips? Let me add this. Have a similar tool by Sorby. It's very useful. So the little, the little Sorby kit that has the little. I mean, we could certainly. I do have kind of plans. Where's my bar? There it is. And down the corner, I do have plans maybe to add that sort of, captured washer for the 3/16 by 3/16 cutter tips. We could put on there. What I really need to do is maybe talk to Lyle and see if his system, our parts would fit on here. So that may be something that might come in the future. So good question. Good question. Yeah, so I want to thank everybody for joining today. I think I answered most of the questions. I'm just kind of scrolling back through. I do want to, I should have mentioned this earlier. So tomorrow, Cindy has a sharing session. Check her website out, cindydrozda.com, to sign up for that. If it's not too late, I'm not sure. I saw Cindy's email go out today. So, but those are always fun. She's got a demo. I didn't get a chance to put this up here. Cindy's got a demo, I think March 12th, I want to say, or is it 16th? She'll maybe post it in chat. Go ahead and post it in chat, Cindy. Your next demo. It's metalworking for wood turners. So that'll be a fun one. She did one of those a year and a bit ago, maybe. So this is going to be part 2 sort of thing. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'll be there as co-host. And I got this set up as a scrolling banner. So I should have probably had this going for a while, but I neglected to have this going. So spring vendor showcase, April 1, 2, and 3 at 1 to 3:30 Central Time, or 2 to 4:30 Eastern. See the website for registration links. So if you go to my website, you'll find the calendar items either on the left, or go to the event page and look for the spring vendor showcase and sign up, register there. It's going to be a fun event. So it's all 6 of us back again. Myself, Cindy Drozda, Joe Fleming, Lyle Jameson, John Jordan, and Steve Worcester. So we'll be there doing a bit of turning, talking about tools, having some discussion with you guys, Q&A. We have an egg challenge. So start practicing now, making eggs. That is something that you're going to want to do, is practice turning some eggs. This is going to be a challenge to you folks at the Spring Vendor Showcase. Turn some egg shapes, and we will have a contest that somebody will win something. We're not. I think we're not 100% sure yet what it is. We're also going to have a live egg turning race. So if you have the capability to, put a camera at your lathe and share with us your turning, we'll do that on Sunday, the 3rd. And 4 or 5 of us may be turning an egg in sort of a competition style. So that should be fun. So we thought it was appropriate, spraying eggs and that kind of stuff. So otherwise, let me see. I don't think actually. I want to say. Oops, hang on. Hit the wrong button. I'm still here. I'm just checking my calendar for. Yeah. So next Friday I will not be here. the live stream for Friday, March, whatever it was, 5th, 4th, I will not be available. So I will see you in 2 weeks. Sorry to say, but that's kind of the way it goes. I got a Friday off. We got some plans. So what I want to say is, check out the store, sign up for the vendor showcase, join Cindy tomorrow, join me in 2 weeks. And Lyle, I almost forgot that one. I didn't have that one plugged in here. Lyle Jameson has a demo March 5th, so that Saturday. Check that one out, lylejameson.com. But otherwise, I'm going to say so long and adios. Well, let me just check. Oh, geez, there's a lot of comments. Hang on. I missed all those. Let's see. Cindy says, I use your teardrop on my hollowing rig. Excellent. I wish you made a smaller one. Okay. Let's talk. See what you want and what you're looking for. David, thanks, Todd. I learned a lot. Oh, excellent. Thank you, David. See you tomorrow, Michael. Absolutely. Oh, there it is. Sign up here for the sharing site. It's not too late. So cindydrozda.com, HTML, sign up. Do that. It's a lot of fun. And there she is. There's a metal machining for woodworkers, March 16th, 1 p.m. Eastern. So I think the sign up is at cindydrozda.com again. So take a look at that. Yes, we are. We are running vendor showcase starting April Fool's Day, April 1. So you never know what to expect, Michael. We hope to see you there. So yeah, did I see that already? Oh, she put it on Facebook and YouTube. Good job. Well done. Is the T in your logo a tool rest or a chuck key? No, Benjamin. It is a Elio drive. It is this guy. So this is a drive center. Goes with headstock. Number 2 Morse taper. It's got 2 adjustable 1/4x20 screws that are sharpened to a point on either side, and the center pin is adjustable by a set screw there. So it is a drive center that is great for live edge or bark edge. So the center pin can extend out. It's got a flat on it to register on that set screw. And so if you've got a bark edge or a burl cap or just a jacked up piece of wood that's kind of crooked and gnarly on top, this is a great tool to kind of get that piece of wood mounted on there. So this is the 2.5-inch version. There is a 3.5-inch version, which has longer screws. And then there is a small 2-inch version, which is kind of, I don't have access. Well, here's one I've got kind of set up as a faceplate. So this is the 2-inch version. So on the back of all of them, they have these other countersunk holes, which you can use with screws and mount it as a faceplate. So I have this as a cup center I've been using, and also doing some tops and some other disc small stuff on that. Oh, does that go there? It goes there. All right. Good. I thought I lost it. So they only come in Morse taper 2, but they do have a 1/4x20. So if you are going to use it like a faceplate, you get a drawbar kit, or make your own drawbar, which is really a threaded rod that would go through the headstock and attach to your drive center. And so when you're using it without the tailstock support, it's not going to come out of the headstock. So this bar would go through the headstock and through the spindle. So yeah, it's that was really the inspiration for the logo, and that is because I took over this business with buying this inventory from 2 guys in Edmonton, Brian McAvoy, Gord Langer, who sold the business to me in 2017, and that's how Woodturning Tool Store started. Ben, it's the T in the Elliott Drive. Yep, Elliott Drive. Excellent. People know. Register for vendor showcase. Yeah, there's the registration. So if you can find that in Facebook. She goes, oh, okay. Well done. Cindy's dropped my webpage there. Thank you. There's Lyle Jameson. Thin-walled goblet on March 5th. So check that out. So that's a good one. Well done. Yeah, so I got to the end of the comments. So thanks everybody for joining. Appreciate it. Again, my name's Todd Rains, Woodturning Tool Store. Check me out in 2 weeks. And otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow at Cindy's and sometime along the way. So bye for now, everybody. Take care. Have a good weekend.